Sled, step up, split squat, squat, stretch. Not what you just saw me do. If you can walk forward at all, you could walk backward, even 1 inch, and you could go from there. Sled, step up, split squat, squat, stretch. My hot wife is gonna come demo with me. All right, you guys can keep, well, you can keep watching, working out, whatever you want. We're doing the demo. Here we go, babe. So, this is a live demo. These are all certified ATG coaches. This video is for them. If it does well on YouTube, who knows, we'll leave it up. But if the background noise is a problem, well, pretend you're with me in here. This is reality. So she's gonna show why everyone can start sled. Step 1. Good, step in. Good. The belt's gonna come up around the waist. You're gonna actually put it out of the way of your feet. So this is an important point so you don't trip on it when you're going. Now, start going really slow, like just lean your weight against it. This is why everyone can sled. We really got onto this when we realized that grandparents were kicking ass by sledding to start every workout. Keep going. Now you can go whatever's natural. All right. Now you'll notice on every step, her knee is naturally over her toes. She's going pretty fast. You don't have to go that fast to start. No. This is our sled belt. Let's take a look. We made a stopper right there so it doesn't constrict you when you're going backward. So let's see if we can correct that on the next round. We'll see. Start slow. See that? So just, if you could walk backward, you could drag a pound backward. This is knee strength, knees over toes. Every step backward, you're strengthening through the foot, through the knee. So this is strengthening her feet, her lower leg muscles, her knees, the muscles around the knees. You can go whatever feels natural. What makes it harder is not necessarily more weight, but faster steps. You want to find a medium weight. Maybe she was too strong for that push. Let's see. Let's see the push one more time. Sweep it out of the way of your hand. Let's see why that happened.
It just slips down me.
Try with your arms straighter.
Like
No. I just want to see. Try with your arms straighter. I want to see that. Okay, go ahead. Let's see. I'm just watching the belt there. That looks good. There we go. Nice, babe. Good job. Wow. So she's cooking, she's building up speed. But remember, my mom is 69. This is her primary workout. She does ATG. She does her program, her longevity program. Every workout starts with sled. Good job. Now the difference between sled, you're pushing, you're extending the leg. Whether you're going forward or backward, you're extending the leg. Layer 2 step up means you're now handling your own weight. We're gonna go to Keegan Smith, the first person I ever saw doing knees over toes training. Keegan has been a mentor to me, and he created ATG for coaches with us. We've mentored now all these coaches. I'm gonna give the mic over to Keegan, and Keegan is gonna explain why step up is number 2 and why split squat is number 3. Keegan, take it away.
Yeah, so the step up is an exercise that is pretty poorly understood. It's easy to dismiss and just think, oh, well, I can squat, so I don't need step ups anymore. It's kind of how I looked at it when I first did it. But being able to actually do these Poliquin step-ups is a real superpower. It's a specific exercise in terms of being able to jump very high and being able to sprint. It's that last bit of knee extension that we need for extreme athleticism, but at the same time it can help to prevent injury, to help us to be able to actually do the things that we want to do. So you can look at it both ways. The cool thing is for the tendon is that because you're not getting a lot of stretch on the tendon, it's going to be easier to tolerate, especially if you regress that step up back to the Patrick.
Yep, Alyssa's going to show every regression. So as the guys go through this, Alyssa's going to show every regression. So she would actually assist herself, and she would do a low step. Keegan has a higher step with an angle. An angle is shown to cause even greater patellar tendon and quad development. When they tested athletes with regular training versus knee over toe training with the slant, they were able to return to sport much faster.
Yeah, and if you think about it, the femur actually kind of wants to slip off the tibia here, and the structures inside the knee are stopping that from happening. So we're going to get that other adaptation of the internal structures of the knee, which is something that most coaches, most athletes are not thinking about, but ultimately that's how Ben's able to do that crazy stuff, is that the knee has the integrity to be able to handle extreme loads.
Exactly, I'm training that position, and with the sled, it's the gentlest.
Yep.
With the step up, you now have to handle that. So sled is just there, step up's also there. So it adds more variable. With a sled, there could be 1,000 pounds on it. It just wouldn't move. Maybe it would hurt a little bit, but if you put 1,000 pounds on your back on a step up, you'd get injured. So there's more variable. We have height. Alyssa's going lower. We have angle. And now I'm going to put Keegan on the spot. You're 40 years old. Let's see your split squat, just the wedge on the flat ground. Imagine if the world's 40-year-old men had this mobility, or 40 years old for anyone. Beautiful. Let's see the other leg. Watch out for the plates behind you.
Yeah. Being able to.
Look at this. This is the new 40-year-old mobility. And he didn't start like this. He put in the work, but sensibly with this formula. Now, why would this matter? Why not just step up?
Yeah, so initially when people do this, especially if you've had tendon issues, you're going to feel like a stretch in the tendon, and that stretch in the tendon, that pain in the tendon, is going to stop you from actually, wanting to squat. But when you build this range back, when you build the length into the tendon, then you're going to be able to tolerate even more of the plyometric type stuff, which challenges the tendon as well. So we're going to get significant tendon remodeling because of the length that we're putting into the tissue. You're also fully closing down that knee joint, which a lot of athletes have lost the ability to fully close their knee joint because they never do. But this is an exercise that's going to give us that ability back.
Yep. There was a study done that looked at 164 research papers on deep squatting. It found that actually deep squatting leads to less degradation of the knee and actual growth of the tissues inside. Avoiding things in life tends to lead to more degradation. But it also means now with this exercise, we have to have even more mastery than the previous layer, because now we're going through a deeper range of motion. If we think about a squat and we compare it to a full range of motion split squat, well, with the split squat, the midway point, the knee is not over the toe. With the step up, it's only the top range. With the split squat, it's only this bottom range. But the bottom range is more going on than just the top range. Keegan showed flat ground, Alyssa will show elevated. And Alyssa will assist herself. So Keegan could add weight to flat ground. Alyssa's demonstrating here. And quite frankly, Alyssa's a freaking beast. And she's brought herself back each time from having kids. I would say you've gotten better at this stuff each time after having kids, when most people are losing it. So while a deep squat may be ideal, if a deep squat doesn't feel great, well then yeah, it might not be the right exercise for you. So the better you get at the sled, the better that makes the step up. The better you get the step up, the easier it gets to improve the full range split squat. The easier the split squat gets, then the better a squat feels. Any last tips on this one?
Yeah, when you do these before getting into your squats feel so much better. Like that was the real trick for me. The key was going through the sequence and then squatting heavy actually finally felt good, where it never felt good. I wanted to do it, but it never felt good.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. One of the things that's so important too is to do it at your pain-free level. You don't actually want to push through pain at all. So everything we do is just about working at your level. So the lowest. What used to hurt me a lot is what led me to figure out how to do the Patrick step up just like this so it didn't hurt. And that has been so successful in helping so many different people not actually have pain and have huge wins. So doing this at your pain-free level, if you have to do it with one of these lower, take that off him, then you go down here. If you have to do it even lower, you go here. So the whole point is just do it at your level. It doesn't matter. And then you build up, you build up, you build up. Same thing, if you need to regress on a split squat, you can do the same exact thing, but you would do it higher. So you'd have them like I originally did with this, and you can even have it where you're holding on to both sides. He's making it back how it should be for the regression. That's what I was gonna say. So you would do it up high like this, and then two hands. And it's
beautiful form, beautiful lady.
Aw, thank you. So just like this is incredible. And I think the key to success is literally just doing it at your pain-free level, and you build on and build on and build on and build on. And it doesn't matter where you start, and it doesn't matter how long it takes you. You just do it there and you will be successful.
All right, everybody, Fernando's gonna hit his squat. Total silence. let's get in here. You spot him. Ooh.
All day.
Wow. Wow. Now you gotta say something.
I gotta say
magical.
something. Well, it's nothing magical except the basics. And I know we always say that, but I used to not be able to do a Nordic. I used to not be able to squat all the way down. I had right knee pain as a football player in my early 20s.
Split squat was super stiff.
I could not do a split squat. I was using, I think, 8 inches elevation. So
Couldn't break 5 seconds in a 40-yard dash. I don't know.
couldn't
if you said
touch the
that.
rim. I could nick the rim. Now I can dunk.
Despite gaining muscle.
About 20 pounds of muscle. So
explain what are you doing in the squat here? We've covered sled, step up, split squat.
Okay.
Now we're squatting.
So the key with the squat is it's just like Ben Clarefield actually kind of gave me this good word, and I like the integration of the movements. You have isolation movements, right? You have this split squat, the short range, long range, and this is putting it all together. So
notice the knee.
exactly.
Short range.
Short.
Notice the split squat. It's not actually loading the knee yet. Long range. There. Now the squat, boom, it has to stay strong.
And the low back.
Unless you want this.
Exactly.
So everything now.
That's right. And you're putting low back, and it's really a whole body exercise. And for whatever purpose, whether it's just longevity and wanting to feel better, it's going to strengthen your spine.
Here's a list of showing where someone can start.
Exactly. You can start from any level. There you go, assisted. So my mom, I have her get on the slant board and start squatting, and then she can now. A couple years ago, I found her, she was like struggling to get up. She has chickens, right? So she was like, she couldn't get up. So I was like, Mom, you gotta start training. So.
How old's your dad?
My dad is 70 years old. He has no meniscus. He has I think he's missing a tendon in there from an old injury in the 70s, not the same technology. And he's now, for the first time in his life, doing ATG squats, weighted. He's 70 years old. He's in incredible shape. And it's just an awesome testament to that you can take the most advanced athlete or someone who's never trained before, and they all can benefit from the same basics.
And what was right before this? Split squat. And Fernando really hammered in. Go to when he starts with a client is 5 sets of 5 split squats with a 5-second pause at the bottom of each rep.
Yeah.
Stretching, embracing the form.
Learning how to connect your body, your core. So many people start the split squat, right? And it's all this. You don't know. So just that pause and being able to actually connect and coordinate.
Mastering the form.
Right.
What we use in knee ability is we tend to want to progress it to higher reps in the bottom quarter. For the back, where we want the hip and stuff, we're actually going lower reps, pausing 5 seconds, actually working the full form. Yep, opening up the hip flexor. So sets and reps are going to tailor in more. Sled, step up, split squat, squat, sled, step up. If we can help you with that, it's amazing. How many people in this room have helped someone else have a knee success story? Raise your hand.
Ooh, look at that. Beautiful.
That's pretty, I don't know what you can say on YouTube, but F word, it's pretty effing cool. That's the point of sled, step up, split squat, squat, and then tailoring each part. And Fernando just did what here? So I know.
I can do another one, but.
all right. What are you doing?
I'm gonna add
that was
another.
what the, I mean, he didn't bounce out of the bottom.
Yeah.
He paused. Not that there's anything wrong with bouncing out of the bottom, because we've already worked the underlying part. So if you bounce out of the bottom, now you're having to get through that midpoint.
Correct. There's different purposes, right? So I'm gonna now just do a more explosive one. I want to add.
So
10
if we put, are you gonna put 10 kilo?
Yeah.
All right. So this is 4 plates. These are 10 kilos here, 20. So he's doing 4 plates, not including the chain, which only makes it tougher. Why we enjoy chains is that a coach could say, oh, but if you go all the way down, you won't use as much weight as you could part way. Well, add chains. Now he's using closer to 500 at the top and 400 at the bottom. For some people, it might be even more like they need to go 200 at the top and 100 at the bottom to get started.
And there's even just to connect it to, again, that more advanced, that athlete, it teaches acceleration. The hard part is here, right? And then it's like, okay, you're done. No. With chains, it's like, it's getting harder and harder. So you have to, mentally, it's another thing, a rate of force development, not to get too into that, but it's basically you have to accelerate and go as fast as you can.
Yet we're still connecting it to a full range of motion. So
Exactly.
you're getting the health benefits. So I think for most athletes who haven't enjoyed full squats, what we find is when we put in sled, step up, split squat, and then even if we add chains, no matter how much performance you want, you can get the best of all worlds. All right,
right.
Let's see what you got. 4 plates, not including chains.
All day. Let's go.
Let's go.
Come on.
Oh yeah, get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. Oh. And the most important thing at the end of the day is that I can call up Fernando and say, hey, frickin' football player, we're hooping tomorrow. Are you coming out? And then he's hooping, he's dunking, he's working out the next day. And as long as I've known him, he's never had a knee injury. At the end of the day,
Since we started. When we
oh,
started,
yeah, actually you had funky knees when we started.
So when I started, I was playing a semi-pro football season, and I had hurt my knee.
And the shin splint was like,
Oh, and the shin splint
like
was
medical
atrocious.
grade, like, whew. So
none of that anymore.
so that's what it's about. It's just about being able to enjoy.
Don't let them fool you. These guys have known each other since they were 10, and there is no effing or F-word way that they had those problems then. But yes, when they started working out, I'm just joking. I'm just saying, when they started working out, I know. I'm just.
All right.
Yeah.
And we saw that Alyssa showed how someone could get into it. You could actually get, why don't we look at this one more time? We'll put this in the squat rack. You could either use there or you could use there, just to show that even if you think, okay, I'm working on those underlying levels, you might actually be able to put it together in squat as well. So every level still does scale. The step up scaled enough is less than the pressure of going downstairs, and for thousands of people has restored the ability to go downstairs without knee pain. You know, the coolest win for me when a dad is like, I can pick up my little girl in the morning and go down the stairs.
Exactly.
Like, that is what it's about. It's actually about just doing what you want to do in life without pain holding you back. Now,
Chairs
The-
are really good too for that.
the legendary Ben Clarefield is going to be put on the spot to demo a Nordic. Ben Clarefield has to demo a Nordic. I put the old guys on the spot to show the stuff that honestly young people, like Keegan split squat is something that like a young person can do, but like 40-year-olds, we're talking like less than 1 in 1,000 could do that. Same with the Nordic hamstring curl. And no, we're not getting the elevation. You got to show the Nordic, and then you can break down knee flexion for us and also coach Alyssa, because this is a tougher one to regress. So, hey guys, real quick. Hey guys, the first couple parts, I'm worried for YouTube, it might be so loud. So if on YouTube, if they can't hear anything, let's at least keep watching the last sections. That way it's like, all right, if you can read lips through parts 2 and 3, you can become a great coach on parts 4 and 5. So
So
all right.
continuing the flow, what I love about this is if we think about what we've done, sled, step up.
I'm going to put the
split
stretch
squat,
behind you so we don't have to.
Squat,
Yep.
that's all the front part of the knee, if we think about it that way, to a certain extent. Obviously, when you're squatting, you're using your hamstrings and your low back too, but it's a large focus on the front. And I think what ATG has, thanks to Ben, the equally famous thing and the fact that there's a serious inflationary response to what Nordics cost around the world, blame Ben Patrick. We're also famous for Nordic curls. There's no question about that. So all of us work towards that. Some people say it's the chin up of the lower body. We all work towards that. Everyone gets their first one. They're super excited. And we're going to see the regression really soon and what we can do.
What you got, Ben? What you got? Oh!
Long story short,
How old are you, brother?
42, turning
'Kay.
43.
Not supposed to happen in your 40s.
Yeah, but but the point is, all of this is,
I expect more at age 50, though, by the way.
right. All of this is a matter of what can you do first, and then we regress everything or progress the things towards it. So we have Marcel and Ben, and some of us will do these loaded, but there's a way that you can regress it. So we do the eccentric, where you control the lower, but it's also worthwhile elevating. We have that
Can you guys bring over the
ability
torque?
too. But then what we're going to do is,
And Ben, while they bring that over, because we'll show that so they can see what we're talking about elevating. We said sled, step up, split squat, squat, stretch. So in the background here, I was just demoing a couch stretch. So this is a classic example of a stretch. What you're looking at is, I put together an ATG basics program where we do knee ability on Monday. You're looking at our actual Monday session. So once you get to this stage of the workout, now you can actually work the stretch in with the knee flexion. So I wanted to show that.
And what you can do, everything has a regression or progression. So we always talk about this, and I think, you guys see at the beginning of the YouTube Ben flying and almost touching the roof here at, I don't know, 16 feet or whatever it is. And Fernando squatting a truck and everyone doing Keegan's beautiful split squat, And the thing is, it's not there's athletes and there's broken people. It's all on a regression or progression. So
Exactly.
Alyssa's squat, and to be fair to Alyssa, she can squat way more than what she was showing, but she likes showing the regress version.
She's doing her job. Give her a round of
there we
applause.
But
job,
the
baby.
genius is that Ben found ways to MacGyver Nordic curls when there wasn't gyms around. And we're going to get to this after with Alyssa. Of most gyms now have some form of leg curl, which Ben and I talked about this, that it was very worthwhile to have the buddies have this, because if people can't do Nordics and the eccentrics are hard, you can get into the actual leg curl and do really good stuff. So it's like a chin up, to have someone start with the chin up on the upper body, the entry point is the body weight, which makes it really difficult. But a bicep curl, you can start with 2 pounds. So the entry point is 2 pounds. So you can start with a much lighter weight with a regressed client, whether it's an old lady or someone with a really bust hamstring or something like that. You can get into this work and slowly progress and then add the Nordic work. So we're in a different world now where most people have access to this, whereas a couple of years ago, people were in the garages and at best, we're trying to figure out a Nordic. Let's see the eccentric. And again, realizing the higher up you are, the more regressed it is. It's easier. But this is great work.
Nice.
So the knee.
Oh, whoa, she's
Whoa.
Oh. All right, rest and you're good.
Show off. She's a show off.
Good job, girl.
Normally the regression though, you would go down.
Slow, lower. Make sure that you.
Slow, and then you can kind of push to help yourself
Now,
up.
remember to have your hands up here, because if you don't and you put your face into the floor, that's not good.
Like this.
So some people make their
Sometimes you
money.
just fall.
Exactly. So you make your money with your face. You might want to make sure that your hands are close to.
I'm going to give a closing statement on this, which is that the inspiration for this was a couple guys, Adam Archuleta, Marty St. Louis. I think Marty was the one that really, like Fernando, we saw Marty and we're like, dang, we want to be like Marty. No wonder we're not athletic. Marty St. Louis was an undrafted hockey player. Fast forward, he's Stanley Cup champion,
Hall of
MVP, still the oldest player in history to lead the league in scoring.
Hall of
37
Famer.
years old, leading the league in scoring. 37 leading the league. That's what I'm looking for with training, not who naturally has the best genetics, which is awesome for them, but I'm trying to train for life. So we're going to look at the exact, Fernando can come demonstrate the exact Marty St. Louis when it comes to going up on the Nordic. And if anyone thinks they can do a more perfect rep than that, we'll have them try. Because when we do this exercise, we're still chasing the perfect rep. And our amazing editor, Drew, will put on the screen. And if you look at Marty's rep, it is unbelievable, the form. So to this day, I actually don't think I'm as good at this as Marty St. Louis, and I'm still chasing the perfect rep. Apparently, Marty was the only guy, so according to his strength coach, Ben Prentice, I wanted to show like a side angle to the camera,
sorry.
like a perfect side angle. Marty was the only guy out of 26 pro hockey players in his gym who could do what Fernando's going to show right here. Start from the bottom. Hands behind the back, Marty style. This is it right here. Just show a perfect one and then describe it. Yeah, show a perfect, chase the perfect rep. What's your perfect rep? What do you got?
Let's
Ooh,
go.
nice.
Beautiful.
Now show the camera what you did. Oh, yeah. Nice. Show the camera. Yep. Good.
Beautiful.
So in slow motion, if you look at it, go to the bottom. Tire him out here. So in slow motion, what happened is that the glute contracted first. So if the hip shoots up, well, then the knee hasn't been pulling yet. So the glutes contract first. Go for it. Yep. And then the shoulder stays above the hip to finish on the way up.
And
Nice.
so a regression to that, I remember in Indiana, we would.
This is the first time we had access to a Nordic bench.
We couldn't do it. We used
Took me 2.5 years to do a good Nordic. Yep.
The rack and the Bosu ball.
You said 2.5 years?
Took me 2.5 years to do a good Nordic.
So this is a more advanced regression coming from that, but when you still can't do the Marty St. Louis, you use your upper body and that speed of
Yeah.
contraction in your glutes to assist yourself
It's going to make things fire, and then you're still doing what's the most important part? Fight down, fight down, fight down, fight. That's still the most important part. So I'll show one, and then I see right here, Matthew Scar is one of the best Nordics I've seen. So we'll get him. So we'll look at that where I'm at. So here we are. So that took me 2.5 years. But I want you to imagine a knee. Let's watch on the way down, the important part. Think about knee bulletproofing. Okay. All right. Do you think the knee would be as protected if I dropped like a sack of potatoes? So when you're in sports and you have that hard deceleration, a knee that can handle the body or not handle the body. That's why we love the Nordic. But I got to see. What do you got, brother? What do you got, brother? The perfect rep. Drew, put it on the screen versus Marty St. Louis. Let's see who's got. Start at the bottom, just like Marty did. Hands behind your back. All right, here we go. Oh, wow.
Easy peasy. Let's
Nice.
go. Really good control.
Wow, look at that. Look at that. Oh, wow.
There we go.
Amazing.
Shaking.
Matthew has soccer background and is helping
Really great lower
tons
body.
of people now himself
I
to
wonder
results.
if I can do it after the babies.
Oh, God.
I could. Can I try?
Yeah.
Use your arms.
Yeah, I'm not doing Marty St. Louis.
You can do it.
I haven't even tried one.
Well, we're definitely breaking a record for world's longest Nordic video, that's for sure.
Not 10 months tomorrow is my baby girl. Okay. 2.5 is the little boy. The last Nordic I did was 2019.
Like 4 years, before
So I
getting
haven't
pregnant.
even tried
And it was
once.
with the
It
arms.
was one with the
Yeah.
arms, and Ben was sitting on my leg.
Yeah, I was shocked. It was just like this. She was like, I can do it. I was like, it's gonna ruin the video. And then
I want this one.
so start from the bottom
Yeah.
and use your arms.
Yeah.
It's like a jump. She's a figure skater.
Don't judge if I can't.
No, we have advanced editing. You're gonna be
I don't even think I.
your hand. So your arms will be, remember, like as if you're like jumping.
I don't think I can. Honestly, feeling the position, I don't think I can. But
Get
we're
up,
still
you
gonna
got
try.
it. You got it.
All right.
Okay,
and now finish it out.
Okay, so my story is a bit easier on Nordics. We talked about this. It took me 2 weeks to do a Nordic.
Yep.
However, I had Charles Poliquin say the only thing you can have, you need to have leg curls in your gym. You need to have leg curls in your gym. And I've had my facility for 12 years now. And very fortunately, Charles like, I have a leg curl by chance that you can buy for me. I'm like, I'll take that. So I've had leg curls.
And
from
not
the
just leg
beginning.
curls, every angle of leg
That's right.
curls,
Yeah,
every
I have
angle
multiple
of Romanian
machines.
deadlift and good morning and back extension. So he actually built up the ability to do this with all of those.
So the thing that was, again, the interesting story with the Nordics is I think Ben popularized it because in some ways, this is like, if you guys knew, you guys don't need to know the price of this thing.
Young athlete, you can get this in your garage.
This is
100x
doable.
your chances of a pro career compared
And-
to, don't buy the next video game, buy your next Nordic
And
bench.
ATG is doing a great job. Within time, there's going to be an ATG one. Anyway,
Yep.
you know, spoiler alert, whatever. But
No, there needs to be
this-
gyms. That's what all these people,
Exactly.
it's like it needs to be accessible. And ideally, you would have both of these at your gym.
Absolutely. So I think now where there's more access to these type of things, we can enter easier. So, you know, Alyssa, with a few months of training, will be back to that because she's going to push this and
Yep.
slowly get that back up to certain loads with knee flexion. So it's both knee flexion, but this we can start at an easier way. Now, the other thing you can do with this that you can't really do with the Nordic quite well is you can start playing with angles of toe point. So what you can do is you can do, let's go, what we're going to do, I don't know if Drew wants to see it or whatever. We can start with dorsiflexion, toe straight. So let's do a rep all the way here, all the way up, all the way up, all the way up. Good, and slow lower. We're going to do another one. All the way up, pull it, pull it, pull it. There, and slow lower.
Good job.
Now for fun, we're going to show, I don't know if Drew can see, what we're going to do is we're going to plantar flex. Is that too heavy for you? Is it okay? Okay, good. So we can plantar flex, which means point your toes like a ballerina all the way up. And that takes the calf out of it, which actually will make it harder.
A little too high.
Too
Yeah.
high? Okay.
Like,
Oh, on the, got it.
yeah.
So you can set this.
on one
Go that way. Is
closer
that
in.
better?
Yeah.
I think it's
See
the
if
other
that's
way.
okay. Is that better? Or no?
Believe it or not, I think this one was built for
Oh,
giants.
Hold on.
Because it's just gonna roll off my feet.
There. Try there.
Okay.
So the
Go
cool
all
thing
the
with
way.
this is
Hold
you
on.
can do all the way.
Hold on, let me go all the way. Yeah, go all the way. Try it. That's yeah.
Is that
that's,
better?
Yeah, that's the lowest setting. This one, there's all
there
kinds
we
of
go.
different brands.
Yeah.
So it takes time as a gym owner. Like we bought this brand and we really like how it works, but it does happen to be built for giants. This is the lowest setting.
So that's toes pointed, plantar flex. So you have two options. Now the other thing you can do is let's go back to dorsiflex, which is pointing it this way, and you can have your toes pointed in, which will take a different tension on the hamstring. All the way, toes pointed in, and you do one. And then you can do toes pointed out dorsi. So you got three options for toes dorsi. You've got, if you want to see my feet, you've got toes neutral dorsi, toes in dorsi, toes out dorsi. There's three options. Now you can do the same thing plantar. Toes in plantar, toes straight, toes out plantar. You've got 6 variations. That's 6 months of training if you program a month. Now you've got Poliquin. And we have single leg. We haven't even talked single leg. So you have multiple months of training where you can do the same thing single leg on a lying leg curl like this. So that's
Every
year of
layer,
training.
it's a great example. Every layer, what we just described, sled, step up, split squat, stretch, and then getting into our finishing circuit where we were showing, we were going from stretch. Yeah, go
I
ahead.
think we have to.
Yeah.
So Charles, right, this is an overloaded eccentric, which means you're starting the hard
Maybe
part.
the best option if someone has a hamstring curl machine to mimic a Nordic because it's harder on the way down.
Exactly. So your toes are dorsiflex neutral on the concentric on the up. You switch to plantar, slow, lower.
Happens to be
all the way
harder with
down.
the toes away, so you get some of that eccentric overload.
You
So
get
this
it?
would probably be what our go-to advice if the gym doesn't have a Nordic but has this, you could start there. Show a
absolutely.
2 up, 1 down too.
So you can go 2 up.
Now we're getting real eccentric overload training. Boom.
Slow,
so
lower.
that would give you that eccentric overload
And
of
again,
a Nordic if
you
you had a hamstring. That's probably what I would do actually at a gym because I'm addicted to those. Yeah. Yeah. So if you had, so look, ideally you're a kid, get this, never look back, stay ahead of the competition. But with this, you could also even out imbalances. So there's a reason there's, yeah, there's a reason ATG starts from 0, which is amazing, has thousands of knee success stories. It's my personal favorite to do 0 and then add these basic things because that's what I could have done. My knees started going downhill at 12 and ruined my life, as silly as it is. When Alyssa and I met, I was depressed because of my knees. How silly is that?
Yeah.
So I never would have imagined that I
He
would
used to
now.
ice his knees. Literally,
Four
he
times
couldn't
a day.
do anything. I wanted to go walking. I wanted to go bike riding.
yeah, I
I wanted
didn't
to
do
go
any
kayaking. I
extracurricular.
wanted to do anything. He just wouldn't. He would work out. He'd ice his knees and sit on the couch for like a good hour plus
Yeah.
before he could even move again.
So it still blows my mind that I can. Here, I got to do this one more time. It still blows my mind. I wouldn't have thought that I would be the person who could do that kind of stuff. And
At will.
yeah,
Cold.
and
not
mostly
cold.
play basketball and not even think about my knees. So that was my source of joy, became my source of misery. So yeah, of course,
You're right.
it was my source of joy, became my source of misery. Well, now it's my family, but now I get to hoop, and it's like just like living what I wish it felt like back when I was in high school, unable to play a game. So I'm addicted to 0 and these minimalistic things. But ideally, there would be gyms you could go to, because then when I was 12, I could have just gone to an ATG gym. I could have fixed my imbalances
But
too.
what you said about your Nordic curls, I think, is one of the most important takeaways that I think your story and that Alyssa's lived every day with, is that you have to trust the process and not be so caught up with time. And I think people get super caught up with time because that Ben says it took him 2.5 years to do that Nordic. Okay, but some people say, like, I've been doing this 2 weeks. How come I haven't lost 100 pounds? How come I don't have my ACL isn't fixed? How come my back? Trust the process. I mean, what we can guarantee here, I think, at ATG, you know, maybe humbly I'm saying this, is that we the results will get you. It might be a slow process. So I think that's the thing, is really believing in the process and seeing that it's not linear, and slow and steady you do the work. And I think the thing is that everyone sees Ben do the crazy stuff, but they forget to hear that little message, which is like, this took me 2.5 years. We were talking in the car the other time where you were like, yeah, my split squat took 8 years. 8 years to get to where you all see it now on Instagram and YouTube, and it looks perfect, and we're, you know, the best salesperson for split squats ever, Ben Patrick. So I think people have to have that perspective of it's okay for it to take time. It's okay for it to take time.
It's a personal journey, and most people in society are going downhill. So if anything, the beginning stages is the time to be most patient with yourself and acknowledge your wins. And just to show everything scales, everyone can do this exercise at some level. And this would be, look, we're working knee flexion, we're doing our couch stretch, we've got sled, step up, split squat, squat, stretch, But in between stretches, we can get our knee flexion. If anything, I think doing the couch stretch first is actually going to open up for better knee flexion training. And while you're resting from that, throw in your tib, which is, so we address the knee, sled, step up, split squat, squat, stretch. You still have here, you have here. Don't forget the calves, but realize that we were doing sled, which is why the Zero program starts with 2 different kind of calf raises if you don't have a sled. But when you're sledding, you're actually working those calves. So we've covered every angle scales. We gave it hell, we gave it our best effort. Thanks to all the ATG coaches here, thanks to all the ATG coaches watching this from home, using it to help other people.
Thank you.
We'll be
Thank
back
you,
later.
guys.